Nature, you scary. Hey, are you ready to go fix the tomatoes? Come on, let's go.
Buggy's hat.
Buggy's hat. Oh, okay. Let's get Buggy's hat. That's probably a good idea. Here's Buggy's hat. Here's Daddy's hat. Are you ready? Mom will get her hat. Let's go. We'll go get started. Your mom's over there chugging her tea.
It's still warm.
Can't be having that cold mom tea. Good morning, beautiful people. Morning. It's almost afternoon. You guys ready to sweat with us out in the sauna? All right, so those of you who have been with us for a little bit, you will remember we set up our tomatoes on a massive trellis. I had some jute twine that I tied up the tomatoes with that I had extreme doubts whether it would hold up, and those doubts were confirmed. Oh yeah, there's another one that dropped. Yay. So these ones we hung up last night. Yeah, that's a bummer. That's what, two of them dropped last night. Yeah, it fell down. Don't step on it. We got to hang it back up. So basically what happened is this jute twine is crumbling. I actually have a whole row that fell down that me and Meg were out here, you know, till it got too dark to actually work, that just fell down. So we've been in here restringing and kind of trimming and pruning, doing the stuff that we have kind of gotten behind on. Just really a whole bunch of maintenance. Oh, you picked some tomatoes? Well, we're not here to pick tomatoes right now. We're gonna stand the tomatoes back up because they're falling down. They can only take so many of that falling down thing before it wrecks them.
Yep.
So that's what we're gonna do right now before it gets too blisteringly hot. We were thinking we were gonna have some cloud cover today. We might get a thunderstorm later.
Maybe.
But in the meantime,
no luck right now.
No luck on the clouds. So we're gonna get these tomatoes cleaned up, tied up, stood up,
okay,
trimmed up,
all right,
up. Today, tomato up. That's what we're doing. So just to show you something that's kind of cool, this is just a regular paper wasp. He ripped the head off of this caterpillar. There's the body of the caterpillar, and he's eating the caterpillar. Even though we don't like paper wasps because they really hurt when they sting you, they are beneficial. Like, what do they eat? That's the question. What is the purpose of wasps? What do they do? You know, they're not really a pollinator, even though they can pollinate. That's what they do. So this year, I've tried to keep from spraying the wasps. Yeah. Even though, you know, my first instinct, years of training.
Right. Kill everything.
Kill everything. You see a bug, kill it. Well, as long as the wasps leave me alone, I leave them alone. Mm-hmm. And we've noticed we haven't had a bad problem with caterpillars this year. Yeah. That's really cool. Wasp. Good job, wasp. Keep doing your thing. You guys want a bird's eye view? That's why we have gorilla pods. What do you think, guys? I don't think you guys can tell what's going on. It's just a sea of green. Alright, I'm gonna move the camera over here.
Y'all didn't fall off. Good job.
Yeah, the camera didn't fall off the tippy top of that post. So, we don't have any tomato blight, which is good. And spraying CalMag on this has actually fixed the blossom end rot, because all the new stuff is blossom rot free. But, as you guys probably seen, it still looks like we're pruning heavy. We haven't gotten the height up where we want it just yet to let them bush out. When they reach that string, like that one up there, that's pretty much as high as we're gonna go, and we'll let them fill out from there. And they can, you know, they can kind of shade themselves out, and there's still enough. We've noticed there's stuff coming out of the bottoms of these plants that's turned into huge, giant branches. So we know that they'll keep keep growing and keep pushing out growth, because I know there's gonna be people who say, huh, what about all those green tomatoes you're pruning off? We're gonna have some fried green tomatoes. Don't you worry about that. We'll make sure they go to a good home. All right, we have put back up all the ones that fell down. By the looks of it, there's maybe a handful, 5, 6 tomatoes left that still have the jute twine. Let's see on this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's 6 in this row that still have jute twine. I can almost guarantee you they're gonna fall within the next windstorm. If we have a thunderstorm this afternoon, I'll come out and all the rest of the jute twine ones will be down. So I think I'm gonna redo the one she's trimming right now. Just get it restrung. I guarantee if you just tugged on that, even just a little bit, that string will break.
Probably.
Very glad to get this done. I'm very glad to get out of the sun, because we are headed into afternoon. It's hot. Yep. Did I mention it's hot yet today?
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty warm today.
You're so gripey about the heat.
I can't handle the heat. Are you ready for dinner?
You're rotten.
She is rotten. Spoiled rotten. Hi. Ham.
Cheeseburger mac.
Cheeseburger mac. We haven't had cheeseburger mac in ages.
It's been a long time.
Hey, I don't want to be the one to point it out, but that's not mac.
I know. Had cheeseburger pasta.
Cheeseburger penne. It's not cheeseburger mac because it's not macaroni noodles.
Whatever.
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 90s called. Alrighty, time for our evening walk. Baby went down to bed, and we have about that much till the sun sets, so we've got some good daylight.
Yep.
We're kind of going to do a little bit of a garden tour, even though pretty much all morning we were in the garden. So I know people are going to be curious, what happened to all those potatoes you planted? Well, come to find out, a lot of those potatoes, they were just too far gone. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2, I think 3, possibly 7. About 7 out of way more.
Yeah.
I planted a bed of them over there. I planted some over there. Everywhere. Just, it was something to do with them rather than just let them wither away to nothing. Apparently I was too late.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's fine. This compost is completely fine. It's got weeds growing in it, but what doesn't? I can actually consolidate. I can use the compost elsewhere. It's all good. It's better than letting stuff go to waste. I feel like I actually, yeah, it was worth a shot. That's kind of where I was going with it. So, not a total fail, but pretty close to.
I wouldn't say fail. It just didn't work out.
Didn't work out. Yeah. I guess I'll just update on things that have been going on. So, I have been building compost in here using the chickens. This is the way I used to do it back in suburbia. I'd build a pile for the chickens. As you can see, there's one industrious chicken. They scratch through it. I feed them in that. They all know if food comes in here, it's gonna go to that pile right there. After I build that, the previous pile gets moved over here and piled up. They have actually done a really good job. It's time for me to get in here and scrape that all back up and pile it. As you can see, almost 150 degrees. I'm quite happy with that. That is starting to look like compost. And just a week ago, it looked just like that one. So what I'll do is I'll get in here, I'll scrape all this, pile it back up, wet it again, and just get it going again. It's not really a 18-day compost kind of thing. It's not really, maybe closer to a month, but however long it takes, it's whenever I get to it, it'll make good compost. All right, so Tomatoes are doing fantastic.
Looks so much better.
They look so much better. Neglect was really starting to catch up to us. We have lost a couple. There's one kind of in the middle of this first section and then one on the end of the second section that we've like straight up lost. It looks like something got the roots, or maybe they got dried out or something like that. But 64, we're down to 62.
We're doing pretty good.
We're doing pretty good. So one of these right here, there was a tomato worm that was all covered in the eggs of a parasitical wasp, and it had not moved in 24 hours from last night until, well, I guess 12 hours. Oh, you found it?
Yep. Oh, he looks worse than before.
Oh, he does look worse than before. Yeah, he's not doing too good. He's not trying to eat or anything. He's just like, I don't feel good. Nature, you scary. All right, top row or bottom row? There's not a whole lot going on in the top row.
No, nothing's really changed.
Yeah,
lately.
nothing's changed.
Need to pick the leaks.
Nothing's changed up here. I did do some weeding the other day. It's been a week, guys. Like, it has been a couple weeks. There's been a lot of stuff going on that has just thrown a monkey wrench in everybody's plans.
Yeah.
I will say the sweet potatoes down here are off the hook.
They are, actually.
They are doing so good. They are just on fire. We are getting eggplant. We are starting to get okra finally.
Yeah, starting to.
Peppers, these are all doing fantastic. Not a whole lot of ripe ones yet, which is what it is, but we could pick them now. Wow, these passion fruit are doing great. Ooh.
One here. See, I brought the basket.
You brought the basket.
We're reaching the point where we always bring the basket.
Those are beautiful.
Those are beautiful.
So those are scorpion chilies. That is so cool looking. Those scorpion chilies actually taste kind of citrusy. They're pretty hot. Not as hot as I was expecting, which is kind of disappointing. The peppers they're not fun to eat are these black dragon chilies.
Oh gosh.
These ones are so hot. They're kind of a novelty. These ones are doing fabulous. Cool looking peppers, huh? Are these cachuchas ready yet? That's what I'm waiting for. Yeah. Ooh, yay!
Did you find one?
Yes, there's some cachuchas ready.
Good.
These are fun. So when you first bite into it, it tastes kind of like a habanero. Mm.
Well, I mean, it's sweet.
It's sweet.
They're not spicy right off.
They do have some spice to them. Yeah, they have a little kick on the back. Real nice, calm heat. These are, like, if you can't handle spicy, but you want a little bit of spicy, these would be a good pepper to grow.
Yeah.
Bell pepper.
Anaheims.
These are Anaheims.
Behind on those too.
So, these melons that we have, they're basically like a tiny cantaloupe. This one actually erupted. That's too bad. That was not ready the other day. I'm gonna go feed this to the chickens. All right, ladies. Boom. And they're on it. We have, it's kind of a bonus bed of green beans.
Yeah.
We weeded, what, last night? Night before?
Night before. Yeah.
Night before. Just, you know, chop and drop all the weeds, put some hay on it. This one, I don't know what happened to it. It was a lot more densely planted.
It was.
I dragged a hose and decapitated several on this end, but it's like every other green bean just died.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird. I don't know if something ate them.
Who knows?
Who knows? Oh well. And then we'll get over here to the cucuzzis. So looking up the cucuzzis, they're cucuzzis, cucuzza, serpent gourd. Depends on where you're from. That's what they'll be named. So the seed packet I planted was from Baker Creek, and it was called cucuzzi or serpent gourd. And they are starting to produce. So we are growing these as animal fodder. I would not want to eat these based on how they smell. If you've ever touched a loofah, this plant smells kind of like a loofah. It's got a very strong, pungent odor, and that's how that thing, like, it smells like an old gym sock. Like, it just doesn't smell like something I would want to eat.
There's a bunch on here.
There's a bunch on here. If they all stay and they all grow.
Yeah.
Which there's already, you got to kind of wade your way through here, but there's a ton. All right, so back when we first started walking, I was talking about all of the potatoes that I had planted, trying to see if we could get something out of them. There's one out of this entire 2 rows. Like, if you guys remember, we pulled up corn because it was tasseling the same time as this stuff, and we didn't want to crossbreed. So I ripped it all out and we planted some potatoes, see if we can get a little more potatoes this year. So what happened was those potatoes ended up not being viable. What was that, Friday? Saturday? It was Saturday.
This past
Saturday. So. I had a box. It was a box of russets that we had in the kitchen that all of them sprouted. And some of them had sprouts that big. So I planted all I had, and it was about a bed and a half.
Yep.
And then the other half of the bed, which is here, coming up, these are butternut squash.
Those came up fast.
They did come up fast. Those came up in just a couple days.
Yeah, that's great.
Butternut squash kind of needs a long period of time.
Does. We're really pushing
We're
the
really
envelope
pushing
with
it.
this one.
Maybe we'll get a late frost this this fall.
Yeah.
Like maybe it'll come. Our frost date is the 15th of October. Maybe it won't happen till closer to November.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But we've planted our Cherokee tans this late before and gotten a big old harvest by frost time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try that with the butternut squash, and I've got some acorn squash down there in the failed wheat bed.
Right.
All right, so here's our squash bed. As you can see, we're just about done. All of the zucchinis but one are dead. All of the yellow squash are on their way out. The cushaws are starting to fade. They're littered everywhere. Like, they are everywhere. Our watermelon, oh man, we've never grown watermelon this good. There's watermelon everywhere in here. Oh, you found some yellow squash. I walked right over those today.
Did you really? Means not very big, but.
That's all right, it'll be tender.
Yeah.
We can fry it.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I think there's one over there, about the same size. These are spaghetti squash. Like, that's doing what spaghetti squash. Yeah, that's the vining kind. And then the one that's producing
the weird
not spaghetti
sketchy squash.
Sketchy squash. This big bush thing right here is growing more like a zucchini, but it's producing a squash that looks more like a spaghetti squash, like this one. But the inside is not really a spaghetti squash.
Yeah.
So,
and that's a lot more orange.
Yeah, a lot more orange than these actual spaghetti squash. So,
sketchy squash.
Sketchy squash. So these are your butter beans that are refusing to bean.
I mean, there's a handful.
Well, maybe I'll hit them with our amendments. You can use it as a foliar. Maybe it means we're missing something in the soil for blooms.
Which is interesting because our other green beans have set just fine. But
this one, I mean, there's blooms up here.
Yeah.
And there's blooms right here. Maybe it was just a size thing. Maybe it just needed to get a little bit fuller. So here's some.
Oh, good, you found one. And they're not ready yet.
They're not ready yet. Those beans are still really small.
Yeah. But it's just not very much for the amount of greenage.
It's almost like we have too much nitrogen going on.
Yeah, maybe.
Then the black-eyed peas, those are doing poorly.
Same thing, yeah.
And then the Chinese yard-long beans are actually pretty much done producing.
Yeah, they are. And
we're still getting bush beans.
I actually just picked like a whole probably about half a basket the other day.
And then the climbing beans, those are doing great. Actually, it looks like we need to pick.
Well, these ones I'm actually letting go, so we can eat them as beans, like actual beans.
Okay.
Shelly beans.
Shelly beans.
Yeah.
And then these are the acorn squash. We're just gonna let them do their thing. I'd say that's probably about half the seeds I planted came up.
Yeah, probably.
I find it funny, this side is where the water traverses. This side is not. There's more topsoil in this side, and you can see how cracked it is here and dry versus how fluffy it is here.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool being able to see that. It's such a fun process, building soil, being able to like dig our feet in and actually grow some soil.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. I'd show you guys the orchard, but
it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. It's an orchard. It's slow growing. So I think that's gonna do it for today. She found us. You found us. Where did you even come from?
She's been following us along.
Has she?
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it for us for tonight. We will catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.